So put to death your members which are on the earth. I'm not bashing ministries and teaching. I'm saying there's some things we teach that we're just not understanding. If you teach me that my wife has 5 needs of a woman and I'm her husband and now I have to fulfill those needs, so if I'm lacking in one, it gives her a reason not to be okay because, hey, he didn't meet my need. He didn't speak my language. He didn't fulfill my womanly created. And all of a sudden, she's no stronger than I'm doing. So I might as well be Lord. Come on, my wife could walk out on me. It doesn't change Christ. Hello? It doesn't change my destiny. It doesn't change my purpose, my created value. Why do I put all my chips on a human decision when the Spirit of God lives in me? Our relationships are driven way more by need than we'd care to admit than they are by love. That's why we're so broken and can't get over the things we've been through. I'm thinking when people live that way, they're probably the one in trouble, huh? Why are we taking it so personal? If I go home and my wife would be with some man in an inappropriate situation, why would I sit and break and cry for me? She's obviously in a very serious, bad place. Why wouldn't it be easy to cry for her and think, God, how did she get here? What's going on in Kimmy? What's going on in her soul? How can I help her? Why would I just be slapped in the face and broken covenanted and broken trusted and now I need the church to cry with me? I know we are not used to this language, but you don't just judge what I'm saying quick. You think on it a little. Because we're making ourselves victims and people villains, and now we're no stronger than the weakness around us, and yet we all sing Christ is in us. We just so relate to emotions that we don't want to give them up. Because they've been misdefined through the fall. The emotions that we've experienced our whole life are very self-centered and catered to ourselves. It shouldn't be so easy to cry for yourself. It should be easy to cry for people in trouble. See, because I know this man whose wife left him and it was a bad scene and I bawled and I couldn't compel her and she was mesmerized and she left and got on a plane and went to sleep with a man she met on the internet and had 2 little kids she left behind, and he cried and yelled and screamed to God in the bedroom for 5 days. How could you let this happen, God? Why don't you bring her back? God, help me. God, this can't be happening. Where are you? Freaking out, screaming like a madman for 5 days. God let him scream for 5 days. Came in the bedroom and said, hey, would you stop praying that way? You don't have a problem. You say, well, God's pretty insensitive. He's in denial. He said the veins just about blew out of his neck. He said he has never yelled at anyone in his life like he yelled at God. He screamed at the ceiling. Is this a joke to you? What do you mean I don't have a problem? What? I don't have a problem? Are you kidding me? My wife is in the arms of another man. I'm holding divorce papers. My kids don't even have a mother. And I don't have a problem. See the rationale? See what fuels our emotions? It's called natural wisdom. To where all of a sudden the clay can scream at the potter as if the clay is right and the potter's presumptuous. All of a sudden our intellect has risen above the truth. All of a sudden you have the right to be mad at God and judge God and yell at God. Why? Because human reasoning has rung up Lord above the Word. Come on, bear with me. He's screaming at God. What do you mean I don't have a... He said the veins, but he just laid it all out. Would have made a good talk show. We decided with him. We'd have been mad at God too. Because he's hurt. His wife did him wrong. And I agree. It's a terrible thing. It's not fun. I wish it wouldn't happen. I'm not making light of it. It's a terrible thing. He screamed at God and the veins were blowing in his neck. He said he's never yelled so loud at anyone, let alone the Lord. He said the Lord didn't even budge. He stayed calm and casual and said, it's exactly what I said. You don't have a problem. After he screamed at God, you don't have a problem. Your wife is in trouble. Why is it so easy these 5 days to cry for yourself and only think for you when you say my heart and my spirit is inside of you? Why can all you think about is what she did to you instead of what she's doing and the trouble she's in? Why haven't you cried 1 minute for your wife? Why can you only think for you? And he fell to the floor bawling. That's pastoral right there. You go, Lord. He come running in my office crying out of control. I thought, oh no, here we go, because I need to pastor him. I'm not going to, I'll cry with him for 20 seconds, but I am not going to get... And he comes in and says, don't worry, Pastor, I'm not crying for why you think. I've heard the Lord. I said, what did he say? And he told me that story. And I bawled with him and said, you've heard the Lord. And he went on and lived strong. And I'm not saying it was fun for him every moment. And I'm not saying he didn't miss her at times. But I'll tell you what, he didn't let what she did dictate his destiny. Amen. Years later, she came back in town. He went to her and said, I love you. She wasn't with the man. And he said, I love you, and I believe I'm your husband, and I've never not been your husband in my heart. And I'd like to get back together with you. And she said, are you kidding? After all I've done and put you through and where I've been, you were deceived. You were in trouble. It's not who you are. I'd love you to come home and be a mama and be a wife. And she came home and they got remarried. And as soon as they got remarried, she found out she was pregnant, but it was way too soon to be his. Here it was a man that she was with after the man she left for didn't work out. You see how insecure you get and you just bounce from arms to arms? He said, it's okay. We'll raise the baby up. You're one with me. We'll treat it as ours. It's family. You think he came a long way from his 5-day little fuming thing? I'll tell you what, God walks in your bedroom and tells you you don't have a problem and asks you personally face to face why you can only think for you. It'll change you too. You might not have the revelation just hearing me preach it. You let God in His majesty and love walk in your room and talk to you like that, your eyes will open. I'm serious. Be real with me. Every one of us can relate to what he was saying. But I'll tell you what, when I tell you what God said to him, we can relate as well. And it's almost stark and sobering because most of us know we'd have cried for ourselves. Some of us in this room have already cried for ourselves. And what God's saying is, hey, why don't you change your tears? You're not in trouble. Nothing's changed with you and me. You're sealed. You're eternal. You're everlasting. Why are you letting one decision rock your future?